It began with a dream, one that lured a king into the unknown and left a throne vacant. Abubakar II, the ruler of the Mali Empire, was not satisfied with the vast lands under his dominion. He was obsessed with the mysteries that lay beyond the horizon, beyond the great Atlantic Ocean. The whispers of foreign lands, untold riches, and uncharted waters tormented his mind until he could resist no longer. Gathering a fleet of 2,000 ships, he set sail into the west, chasing his vision. But he never returned. His fate was lost to the sea, and with his departure, Mali needed a new ruler. From this moment of uncertainty rose a man who would not only lead but redefine kingship itself. Mansa Musa. He was not merely a successor. He was a force of destiny, a ruler whose wealth, faith, and generosity would reshape history itself. And this is his story. The drums of Mali thundered across the vast savanna, sending deep, resonant echoes through the golden city of Niani. Smoke from burning incense curled into the air, mixing with the sweet scent of freshly plucked flowers. The city pulsed with life, its streets filled with merchants, griots, warriors, and nobles, all gathered to witness a moment that would shape history. A sea of expectant faces turned toward the grand palace, their eyes fixed on the man who was about to ascend the throne. Mansa Musa, draped in robes of the richest silk and adorned with gold, stepped forward with measured grace. His presence commanded reverence. His gaze carried the wisdom of a ruler destined for greatness. The griots raised their voices in song, weaving tales of his lineage, his destiny, and the prosperity he would bring. June 15, 1324, the pilgrimage begins. 12 years into his reign, Mansa Musa prepared to embark on a journey that would etch his name into the annals of history. The Hajj, the sacred pilgrimage to Mecca. But this was no ordinary pilgrimage. It was an odyssey of faith, power, and untold riches. On the morning of departure, the gates of Niani creaked open, revealing a procession so grand that it seemed almost otherworldly. 60,000 men, draped in dazzling fabrics, marched in disciplined unity. Scholars, merchants, architects, and soldiers, each with a role to play in this unparalleled expedition. The golden spectacle was mesmerizing. 100 camels, each carrying hundreds of pounds of pure gold, moved in slow, deliberate rhythm. Golden dust shimmered in the air as nobles and servants alike handled bars of solid gold as if they were common trinkets. Even the soldiers' spears gleamed with golden tips, reflecting the unforgiving African sun. The sheer magnitude of this caravan was enough to leave onlookers speechless. No ruler in recorded history had ever traveled with such magnificence. The world had seen kings, but none like Mansa Musa. October 1st, 1324, Cairo, the city that ran out of gold. The golden tide flowed into Cairo, dazzling the bustling metropolis. Traders, nobles, and common folk alike gathered in wonder as the Malian king and his entourage arrived. Mansa Musa's generosity knew no bounds. He lavished gold upon the poor, showered gifts upon merchants, and built mosques that stood as monuments to his devotion. But his benevolence had unforeseen consequences. The flood of gold destabilized Cairo's economy, sending the value of gold plummeting. Merchants and money changers scrambled to adjust, their markets thrown into chaos by the sheer abundance of wealth. It would take over a decade for the city's economy to recover. Even so, Mansa Musa's time in Cairo was not merely about wealth. It was an intellectual and cultural exchange. He engaged in deep theological discussions with Islamic scholars, fostering connections that would later shape the intellectual landscape of Mali. The people of Cairo, accustomed to grandeur, had never seen a king quite like him. December 10, 1324, the arrival in Mecca. After months of arduous travel, Mansa Musa arrived at the heart of the Islamic world. The sight of the Kaaba stirred something deep within him. With tears in his eyes, he fell to his knees, humbled by the moment. Here, amid the sea of pilgrims, he was not a king. He was simply a man of faith. But even in Mecca, his presence was impossible to ignore. His reputation had preceded him, and the world's most influential scholars, traders, and leaders sought his audience. He forged powerful alliances, exchanged ideas, and cemented Mali's place in the global consciousness. Word of his pilgrimage spread far beyond the Islamic world, reaching the courts of Europe and Asia. Maps that once ignored West Africa began to change. Cartographers sketched Mali onto their parchment, and the name Mansa Musa became synonymous with wealth beyond imagination. March 20th, 1325, the return home. Though his journey to Mecca had been about faith, his return to Mali was about transformation. His caravan, lighter in gold but richer in knowledge, carried with it the seeds of Mali's golden age. Among those returning with him was Abu Ishaq al-Sahili, a renowned Andalusian architect. Under Mansa Musa's patronage, al-Sahili would design some of the most iconic structures of Mali, including the Jingareber Mosque in Timbuktu. With its towering minarets and intricate mud brick architecture, the mosque would stand for centuries as a symbol of knowledge and devotion. Timbuktu, once a simple trading post, flourished into one of the world's greatest centers of learning. The Sankore University rose to prominence, its vast library housing thousands of manuscripts, attracting scholars from across Africa, the Middle East, and beyond. The Malian Empire was no longer just a kingdom of wealth, it was a kingdom of wisdom. January 1st, 1337, the legacy of a king. Mansa Musa's reign eventually came to an end, but his legacy endured. He had reshaped Mali into an empire of prosperity, faith, and knowledge. His name appeared on the Catalan Atlas of 1375, depicted as a majestic ruler holding a golden scepter, a golden orb resting in his other hand, a testament to his unmatched influence. But Mansa Musa's true greatness was never about gold. It was about vision. He understood that wealth was meant to be shared, that power was meant to uplift, and that knowledge was the key to immortality. Today, centuries later, the echoes of his journey still resonate. His story remains a golden thread woven into the fabric of history, a tale of a king who proved that true wealth is not measured by what we have, but by what we give. And so, the legend of Mansa Musa, the king who shook the world, lives on, inspiring generations to dream bigger, give more, and walk boldly into the unknown.